2, 1!
The Great Christmas Light Fight is on!
Hello everybody, welcome to the library. I'm Brian Michael, the librarian, and your resource for everything related to the Great Christmas Light Fight. A few weeks ago, right here on The Librarian, we broke some really big Great Christmas Light Fight news. In that announcement, we talked about how ABC has decided to postpone the filming of season 14 until next year. What does that mean? Well, if you're not familiar with the show, it films a year in advance, so you wait a whole year to watch your episode. And that has been very helpful for the last several years. However, ABC and the Light Fight executives decided they need a change, and they're going back to the way they used to do it. And what is the way they used to do it? Well, that's filming as early as Labor Day and up through Halloween. Now, a few of you might see that as a challenge. However, I'm looking at it from a positive perspective, and I think it's an opportunity. And what is that opportunity? The opportunity is for you to better understand the entire Light Fight process. I'm talking everything from applying, to casting, to filming, to completing paperwork, to watching your show air, and perhaps taking home the coveted Light Fight trophy. I'm going to take you through everything step by step in the most detail that you've ever seen so that you can be ready to film for season 14 next year in 2026. Are you interested? Would you like to learn more? Watch this video, and me, the librarian, will share all the secrets to help you put on the best show you can for the Great Christmas Light Fight. Welcome to The Librarian.
Oh, here it goes! Yes. Here it goes, here it goes, here it goes. Ew! I feel like I'm about to go off on a roller coaster. Ready? Yes, I am! Let's do it!
Oh, yeah! Because the Great Christmas Light Fight is on!
If you want to be on the Great Christmas Light Fight, the very first thing you need to do is you have to apply. Or you have to be nominated or nominate somebody. So let's talk about how you do that. Light Fight and ABC has made it pretty easy. Here's what you need to do. Jump on that laptop or on your mobile phone and go to lightfightcasting.com. That's right, lightfightcasting.com. Once you get to the site, you'll see a big gold banner at the top that says, click here to submit or nominate someone today. Just press down on that button, and then you'll see a screen. And on that screen, you have to enter your birthday. And why do they ask for your birthday? Well, you need to be 18 to apply or nominate somebody. Once you enter your birthday and click that enter button, you'll be presented with the application form. And it's pretty straightforward. When I applied back in 2022, it was a really long form and it took an hour or two to complete. It's not like that anymore. Light Fight's made it easy, and they're only collecting the data they need to determine if they want to submit you to ABC for the casting process. So go ahead, scroll through, take your time, fill it out. Capturing basic data, your name, your address, information about the display, what type of elements you have in the display, is it a light show? All of the things they need just to understand what they're going to be looking at. Now, one of the most important elements in the application is the videos that you submit. And this is where I think the opportunity comes in with the delay in filming for season 14. You'll be able to set up this year and take your time and film everything in detail, horizontally. Yes, pick up your phone, film horizontally. Not like this, horizontally. And we'll talk about this more later in the video. Film these important activities. These are things that the casting team are looking for so that they can put your application and the video you submit together into a montage that they'll show to the ABC executives. Definitely include an introduction to the casting team. Introduce yourself, introduce your team members, your family. Have fun with it, dress up, be festive, be exciting. Next, film those prop builds. So one of the advantages of knowing you won't film until 2026 for season 14 is to film what you're making to put into the display, because one of the things the casting team is really excited about is helping somebody grow so they can show. That's a term that they use a lot, grow to show. And what that means is if you don't make it this year, by the way, it's taken some people up to 5 years to get on the show. But if you don't make it this year, you want to show that you're working to improve the show. And that can be things like building new props and elements. So film those, take good footage of them as you build them or as you assemble them, and explain how it's going to enhance your show. You definitely want to film display setup. Have fun with it. They use this footage to show how your family interacts and how you might look on TV when you're doing your home package where you set up the display and get it ready for the reveal night with the judge. So film those activities. Individual display elements. If you have something special in your display, something unique, which is another tip, find something unique. Find a theme if you have one, but don't force it. But film those individual display elements, front, back, lit, unlit, as you build them, as you prepare them, so that Light Fight can understand what you have that's different than everybody else, or something that somebody's never seen. So make sure you do that. Film close-ups of your display. It's great to have that big wide shot, especially if it's a big impressive overhead drone shot. That's a tip. If you have a drone or have access to a drone, take good video with a drone. It is very helpful for telling the larger story. So you do want to get those big overhead shots, but you got to get close-up shots. So zoom in on elements, zoom past them, not a jerky zoom, walk through the display slowly, pan your camera slowly, left, right, up, down, in, out. Take your time, get great video. You'll be able to do that this year. Crowd interactions. One of the nice things that Light Fight wants to see is how your community benefits from your display. So with this opportunity, you can now interact with everybody that visits your display every year and get great footage. And if you forget to get footage, search Facebook, search anywhere on the internet, search YouTube. There's probably video out there from your display and you don't even know it. So you don't have to be the only source. Film family interaction. Film stuff inside the house. Film you getting ready, repairing props, pushing pixels, whatever you do to get ready for your display. Film you and your family so that they can see the interactions. After all, Light Fight is a family show. It airs on ABC, which is a family-friendly channel. Get that kind of footage. Now, here's one of the biggest misnomers, and even I fell victim to it. You don't have to take all that footage and modify it and put it together and edit a really great video with music. Just submit it as is. That is what the Light Fight casting team does. They have a gentleman on their staff who takes your videos as well as some music and information from your form, and they put it all together so that they have a 3-minute video or less that gets pitched to ABC executives to determine if you're going to get picked. By the way, if you didn't know this, in general, the Light Fight casting team narrows down how many families they're going to submit. They submit about 50 to 60 families, so that's 3 minutes times 50. That's a lot of footage for ABC executives to look at to narrow down. So you got to get good footage. You got to get it horizontally. It has to be impactful. It has to be clear. It has to look great, just like your display does. So make sure you do that. That's the tips for film. Here are some examples from the Light Fight casting team themselves that show you the kind of shots they're looking for. And they're even using past Light Fight contenders to illustrate what worked and what got them on the show. So check these out. If you have made the decision to apply, just understand that there are typically 2 periods of time when the Light Fight and the casting team are looking for applications. So you have your winter casting, which is typically December through January. This is really the time where the Light Fight casting team is trying to get those displays on their radar that they think can make the show. Fill out the form, get your footage, and apply in the winter time, but understand you probably will not hear anything until summer casting comes around. And summer casting is usually in that May to August time frame. This is when they dig out people's applications from the winter that applied, and then all the summer applications, and it's when they start reaching out to schedule the next things in the process, which will be your Zoom interview. We'll talk about that in the next video. What happens after you submit the application and all your video? Well, you kind of sit around and wait. And depending on what you've submitted and the timing of when you submit it determines how long you have to sit and wait. So just sit back, chill, set your display up, have fun. You'll find out soon enough if the casting team at ABC likes your decorations.
Do you like my decorations? Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Do you like my decorations?
You've completed that application, you've sat and you've waited trying to figure out if the Great Christmas Light Fight casting team likes your decorations, and they called you back and they want to talk to you, and you've made it to step 2, which is the casting Zoom interview. So let's talk about that and talk about how this can be a great experience for you and your family to help get you on the show. Over the years, the Light Fight casting team has changed. It evolves every year. Some members leave, new members come in, but there's been a core team that's been around. And currently, this is the team that'll be helping with season 14. You might get reached out to by any one of these people. It could be Kristen Moss, who is the casting director that leads this entire casting team that helps find contenders for the Light Fight. Or many of you know AJ Rochester. She's a casting producer who gets around the internet a lot. Many of you know her. She might even bug you or poke and prod you to get you to apply. You might be talking to her. Then there's Jamie Schaefer. Jamie has been around for a long time. Jamie helps cast some of the greatest light displays that have ever been on the show. Who knew that? Don't speak English? Have a Spanish-speaking background? Talk to Alicione Gonzalez. She might reach out to you. In the application form, you can check if you're Spanish-speaking and need assistance. You might get a chance to talk to Mariah Polito. She might help you out. Or Alicia Norris, who's been around for a long time. All these people help find great people, and their goal is to make you look good on the Zoom interview. There are a few other names on here that you might not recognize, but they're the behind-the-scenes people. People like Wanky, people like Christina Mayorga, people like Brian. Those folks are really working to help make you look good for the show. Want to learn more about the casting team? Watch episode 2 of The Librarian, the casting episode, where I interviewed all of these folks at the same time, where they tell all the secrets about being on the Light Fight. Check it out on YouTube. But for those of you who have never been on a Zoom call or a web call, what's it about? And what is it about specifically in the casting process of the Great Christmas Light Fight? Well, in general, it's just a virtual meeting online, just like you're watching me here on my show, so that the casting team can learn more about you, your family, and your display. So just think of that. You're having a conversation, you're having fun. They're going to evaluate your readiness for the show. They'll ask you a lot of great questions, things that they need to create a vision and supplement the content that you submitted so they can make you look good for the ABC executive pitch. If you've never done a Zoom interview, prepare in advance, please. There's nothing worse than trying to get on and finding out you don't even have the software installed. So Google Zoom software or the app, install it. You can do it from your phone, you can do it on your laptop. Get that app installed. And once you're ready to go on the day of your Zoom interview, pick a space, pick a bright space, and decorate that space. We did our interview in July, and we decked it out with Christmas decorations. So you want to make sure you do that so you stand out. Decorate the background, bring some props to show to the casting associate as you're doing your Zoom interview to illustrate the things that you make or have in your display. Have lights on, wear festive outfits, wear Santa hats and mittens and gloves, whatever is fun. The most important thing in the casting Zoom interview is just be yourself. Be honest. Don't put on a facade. Have fun. Don't be nervous. They're all very friendly people. And if you follow those tips, you'll do a great interview. Speaking of great Zoom interviews, or at least I think so, here's what ours looked like when we applied in 2022 for season 11 of The Great Christmas Light Fight.
Recording in progress.
When did you start doing the Christmas display?
We bought our first house in '98, and that's when I started collecting items.
When did the Christmas lighting bug bite you?
I grew up in an apartment all my life. This is my very first display in the apartment.
Each year, it's bigger and better every year.
I started adding my animatronics, and this is some of my Peanuts characters I made from scratch. And this is Frank. There's Linus.
Tell me why you would win your episode if you guys got on the show.
I think there's a couple reasons why we would win the Great Christmas Light Fight. First of all, I think we have an outstanding display. There's a lot of passion behind it. There are a lot of elements that appeal to everybody. I think we just have a lot of fun stuff that shows Christmas spirit and creates a lot of memories. 2, 4, 6, 8. We make Christmas really great. The Michaels, go Light Fight!
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Merry Christmas. Now, what happens after you're done your Zoom interview with the casting team? Well, just like applying, it's a waiting game. You're going to sit back and wait. Your biological clock might even be ticking.
My biological clock is ticking like this.
Do you like my decorations? Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
But don't worry. The Light Fight casting team is working to make your video submission and your Zoom interview and the questions that you answer all look good, putting together in a 3-minute video package to pitch to the ABC executives. So hang in there, have fun decorating, enjoy your display, and you might just get a call back. So you've been listening to the librarian, taking my advice. You did your Zoom interview with the casting associates or the whole casting team, and you might just be making it to step 3, which is contestant notification. The Light Fight casting team will notify you if you did or did not make the show. If for any reason you just didn't quite have what they needed for this season of The Great Christmas Light Fight, you'll probably get a call from your casting associate advising you that you didn't make the cut this year. However, don't sweat it, don't fret it. Like I told you, it's taken some people as many as 5 years to get on the show. And some of those people that took 5 years to get on the show wound up winning the show. So be patient, hang in there, take their advice, do what you need to do to get ready to apply next year. And again, don't be disappointed. A lot of people apply for the show. And sometimes it just comes down to regionality of displays, the types of displays, the blend of the displays, and the limited number of families that they can fit in an episode. Now, if you knocked the socks off during your casting interview and on your application process and submitted all that great horizontal footage that the casting team put together in that short video that was pitched to ABC executives, you're probably going to get a phone call from one of the executive producers if you've made the show. And usually it's Felicia Aaron White, who handles a lot of the onboarding of contestants from the executive level. That's exactly who called us. And there's a funny story behind that. So before I play this little clip here, you got to understand 2 things. You might be getting a call to be an alternate on the show. And I'll explain what that means in a moment. Or, even better scenario, you'll be getting called to actually be on the show. I'll explain both and how you should be excited whether you're picked for one or the other, because both are exciting news, especially if Felicia Aaron White is calling you. Check this out.
Hi, Brian. This is Felicia from the Great Christmas Light Fight, calling you with an update. Please give me a call back when you have a moment. I recognize it's a holiday weekend, so if you're off having fun, totally fine to call me back on Tuesday. I look forward to speaking with you. Thanks.
So that's a true story. Labor Day weekend, my wife and I are getting ready to start enjoying our time by our pool. And Felicia Aaron White calls us to tell us we are an alternate on the show. And I didn't know what that meant. But what an alternate meant was you're going to set up just like you're going to be on the show, because people do drop out and you might get short notice to be on the show, and you have to be ready. And you really have to be flexible, because you're not going to have an option on dates. Depending on who dropped out, that's where you're going to fill the spot. Let's talk about what an alternate is. What is an alternate contender? Well, I will tell you, it's one of the biggest misunderstandings on the show, in my opinion. Now that I've been on the show, and I've talked to a lot of people trying to get on the show, and I've talked to a lot of people that put the show together, here's what you need to know about an alternate contender. And it's good news. It's really good news. It means you've made it through the process, and there's just not quite a spot to fit you this year because of either regionality of the displays, or maybe there's one gap you missed, like you forgot to do that roof with some lights and they want you to fix that for the next year. An alternate contender exists because of a lot of reasons. Believe it or not, even though it's so hard to get on the show, people do back out, and a lot of people back out. Why do people drop out? Well, a variety of reasons. A few of them are right here. And one of the biggest one is HOA. So if you're in a homeowners association with the changes going back to filming anywhere from Labor Day up through Halloween, your HOA is probably not going to let you set up. This new timing gives you an opportunity this year to go talk to them, let them know you're applying for the show, and try to get an exception that you can work with them and their guidelines to be able to set up in a neighborhood where you have an HOA. The other reason people drop out is sometimes there's family emergencies. See, it's unfortunate. And the good news is Light Fight will work with that family to try to get them back on in the following season. But it does happen. There are people who change their mind. They go through this whole process, nerves kick in, they doubt themselves, which you should not doubt yourself, because Light Fight makes it easy. But people do change their mind and drop out. And why do they change their mind? Well, maybe they can't meet the schedule. You are assigned a specific time frame, and it's going to be a little bit near the end of summer next year. You have to be able to meet the deadline. So if you don't have an HOA to deal with, but you have other things to contend with, like grass to be cut, trees to be trimmed, summer vacations, back to school, understand you have to be able to meet the schedule they give you, and it's going to be even tighter next year. So make sure you understand that. Another reason people have to drop out of the show and you become an alternate contender is because anybody 18 or older is subject to a background check. If you didn't see that in the application, or you didn't talk about it when you talk to your casting associate, understand that if you're going to onboard as a contestant, you have to complete a background check that goes into everything. Now, don't fret it. If you have something goofy in there, you got a speeding ticket or whatever it is, it's usually not a big deal, but just understand they hire a third-party firm that specializes in background checks, and if you feel you're not going to be able to pass that background check, be honest up front about it to see if there's a workaround or if you're not eligible for the show. If you made it as an alternate, you're going to get sent a welcome packet that talks about everything you need to understand about the show. It's identical to the one that actual contenders get. If you don't make it this year, there's a good chance as an alternate that you'll automatically be put on the show the following year. You have an advantage here. Read through the document, understand what it takes to be on the show, what's allowed, what's not allowed, how the process works. Review it in detail and understand why having a little bit of time is an advantage. The important thing is pretend you are a contestant that's going to be on the show. Set up early, set up neatly, get your elements in place, get the lights as neat and straight as possible, and you might just get a phone call from Felicia saying, hey, we're coming out. Somebody dropped out and you were the first in line as an alternate contender. A little fun fact here. A lot of alternates get on the show and a lot of alternates win. We're an example from season 11 of being an alternate and going on to win the coveted Light Fight trophy. But you might know some of these others from the lighting community, including the Bigda family, who got very last minute notice in season 8 and won their episode. And then many of you know the Peaceful Meadow of Evelyn Quintero, who's also involved in the lighting community. She was an alternate and she went on to win in season 9. Being an alternate is a good thing. Alternates do get on, alternates do win. 17 days after Felicia Aaron White called me and told me I was an alternate, she called me back again. And once again, I was by my backyard oasis with the missus, and we missed a phone call. But don't fret it. She left a voicemail, and it was an exciting one. Check it out.
Hi, Brian. This is Felicia from the Great Christmas Light site. Please give me a call back as soon as you can. I've got some good news. Once again, this is Felicia calling for Brian Michael. Thank you.
This time, Felicia called me back to say, congratulations, you're an actual contender on the show. We had an alternate dropped out. I felt really bad who that was. They don't tell you who drops out, by the way. You're never going to know who dropped out unless somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, I was on the show and I dropped out. And I don't know if that has happened, but congratulations, you're on the show, and here's the date you're going to get. Can you do it? And again, I talked about no flexibility. If I couldn't do that date, it was unlikely that they were going to keep me and they would move on to alternate number 2. So we said, sure thing. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions our family ever made. It was so much fun. So congratulations if you get picked to be a contender on the Light Fight. Once again, if you do get picked as an actual contender, they will send you a welcome packet. It's very similar to the one sent to alternates. Has a little bit of different information in it, but in general, it gives you all the same things you need to know. What to watch out for copyright, how to set up things, what kind of shots they're looking for, self-filming, how your filming process is going to work, things we are going to talk about in the next couple clips. So get setting up that display. Get ready to be a contender on the Great Christmas Light Fight. Congratulations, you got that great phone call from Felicia Aaron White, executive producer of the Great Christmas Light Fight. And she's going to turn you over to the next people who help you out for contestant onboarding. And that's right, it's the contestant onboarding team. This team usually consists of Bree Kowalski and Christina Mayorga, 2 people that are going to help you be very, very successful as you finish everything you need to complete. Because setting up the display is just the first part. There's a lot of paperwork. It's pretty easy. A lot of it's done online. A lot of it's done through drop boxes. A lot of it's done through DocuSign. Christina and Bree are going to help you do this, and they're going to make it easy. So let's talk about contestant onboarding and all the elements that go along with it. Now that you're a contender, it's time again for another Zoom call. That's because the contestant onboarding team needs to understand what they're getting into and what you're getting into. Make sure you have that software installed. We talked about that in your application process. And really what the contestant onboarding team is looking for are the next steps. So they're going to do a survey with you. They want to understand data about all the participating members that will be featured on your segment. They want to confirm and review all the copyright requirements because you do need to pull a lot of things out. Things like NFL football teams or baseball teams or basketball teams, college teams, NASCAR, things from some of your favorite Christmas movies like Elf, Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story. A lot of other characters like Rudolph and Frosty. Some of these things can't be featured because of copyright. They're going to help you go through that. The next is the availability dates for your virtual scout. They used to come out and walk your property and figure out what they're going to do. Now they do it virtually. So you'll walk around kind of like a Zoom call and talk about what is going to happen on your filming day when you connect with another step in the process. Then they're going to go through the availability dates for filming again. Light Fight blocks different dates. So if you weren't picked as an alternate and you were picked as a regular contender, you'll have some flexibility in dates. So they're going to go through those dates, make sure you can hit them, and make sure you're ready for when the team comes out. They're going to talk about the background check. Again, I mentioned this. Every member that's 18 or older has to have a background check, and it has to come through pretty clean, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So again, if you have any issues that you know of, talk to them now, be open and honest, and they'll help you get through those to make sure you clear so that you can be filmed. Now the contestant team is going to talk to you about one of the most important visual things that you'll see in your episode, and that's your clothing. You got to look sharp. You got to look festive. So the contestant team will help you pick 4 total outfits required for your show. And why 4? Well, they're not trying to stack up your closet. They're trying to theme you for the different ways the show is filmed. The first outfit you'll need is one for your DIY scene. So usually it's something basic with generic holiday themes or colors or the name of your display. Something that'll show when you're setting up the display. So that's your DIY scenes. The second is outfit for your home package, as they call it. DIY home package outfits will be used for your interviews. So make sure you pick something that looks great, a little bit dressier than your DIY scene outfits. Now, if you want to go over the top, reveal night, You want to have your most sparkly outfit look sharp and make sure it's approved. So there are things out there from different agencies or different clothing outlets that are jazzy and flashy. Just make sure you get them approved. Make sure you look good. Make sure you look sparkly. And you don't have to. You could still just wear a shirt with your name on. You could dress up as Santa. You could have something generic. It's all up to you. Just make sure it ties into your display and your personality. They're going to want a fourth outfit. That's for promo shots and B-roll. So that could be something wintry or holiday themed. Doesn't have to have any name on it, but it has to be approved. Some other fun tips. Avoid an all-white outfit or all-white shirt or all black or heavily patterned or some kind of mask or face covering. Even when we filmed during COVID, we didn't have face covering. We were COVID tested. Avoid too much Disney clothing, especially if that's not your theme. Again, Disney is not looking for everything Disney. They're looking for great light displays. Finally, the best piece of advice, unless you want a bunch of extra clothes, is don't purchase anything for the show until it's officially approved. So again, 4 outfits, 4 different purposes. Now, you're getting real close to finding out some other key pieces of knowledge that'll help you with your decorating. This is why it's great to talk to the contestant team. So very shortly, you're going to find out who your judge is, Tanya or Carter. That way, you can understand from watching the show in the past what catches their eye, and you can make some tweaks in your display and what to set up. You'll have a rules call. Every contender that'll be on your season joins in anonymously on a call to go through the rules because it is a game show. Light Fight is considered a game show, just like Family Feud, The Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. There are specific rules and guidelines set by the federal government that monitor game shows. So if you are going on a game show that happens to be a reality TV show, and there are important rules you have to follow, such as not colluding with other teams or team members, passing your background check, signing NDAs to keep things secret until it's airtime. So there's a lot of things they will go through on that rules call, and you'll be assigned a team name. You were Team Jingle Bells. So if you have a question, you chime in, you say Team Jingle Bells with a question here, and they'll answer it for you. So you got to keep that anonymity. The other thing they'll talk to you about is get that display going, continue to set up your display, get it ready for the filming dates that are assigned to you, and they'll help guide you through that. Before you film, they'll also talk about what they do for a clearance walkthrough for the copyright one final time. And in our case, Christina did that for us, and because we had our document in advance, we knew what was allowed, what wasn't allowed, and we were pretty clear straight through. So it can be an easy process or it can be a difficult process. Just try not to squeeze some things in because it'll get cut or it could mess up the filming of your segment. So make sure you follow the copyright. So let's talk about copyright approvals and what can and cannot be approved. So let's talk about your general display element. So first, things that are definitely approved, generic characters that are not from TV, film, comics, video games, or toys. So things like Frosty, the Grinch, or anything that's specific cannot be shown. However, generic versions can. So if you have a snowman, you have a Santa, and it doesn't look like a specific well-known TV show, it's approved. If you didn't know this and you didn't already figure it out, The Great Christmas Light Fight is on ABC, and ABC is owned by Disney. And Disney characters and Disney memorabilia is allowed on the show. It just has to be in its original form. So if you make a wood cutout and it doesn't quite look like Mickey, they'll probably tell you to remove it because they want it represented as it's known. If you're a Star Wars geek, you can have all your Star Wars stuff. That would be kind of awesome. There have been some Star Wars themes on the show. You can have Pixar, Marvel, the Muppets, the Simpsons. All these things can be featured. They don't have to be, but if you have those kind of themes, they can be. One other tip on Disney and Mickey Mouse items, if your theme is not specifically Disney or Mickey Mouse, don't force it. Don't put stuff in there just because you think it's going to help you win. It actually won't. What we did on our episode is I do have some of these characters, and we sprinkled Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and some of those characters randomly through the display. And I think the judges noticed, and I think ABC noticed, and probably could give us some brownie points. So just don't force it. Now, approved but not heavily featured are things like Peanuts and Snoopy and Sesame Street characters. Perfect example is in our season. I have over a dozen 4-foot-tall hand-built Peanuts animatronics, and they were allowed to be in the display, but on reveal night, they will not be featured. So you either have to set them up in the back or work with the camera team to work the filming around them. So in our case, if you watch back our episodes, season 11, episode 6, you'll see my Peppermint Patty and my Marcy, and you'll see my Snoopy a little bit. I don't think you see my Charlie Brown, but they aren't allowed to be allowed. They just can't be heavily featured. Now, there are pieces that can be approved if you have proper photos, and the contestant team can work on getting copyright approvals for those. So things like Hanna-Barbera or Looney Tunes characters, like Bugs Bunny and so forth. Just work with the contestant team and they'll help you get them approved and make sure they look like their likeness for the show. Additional approved elements, and many people don't think about this, because fonts and pictures and imagery also have to be copyright approved. So things like the virtual Santa, you know, the projector that everybody put in their window that looks like Santa Claus is in their house, that's allowed. That's allowed. Garage door covers, Mr. Christmas lasers and projectors, they're all approved. Winfield wood cutouts, so many people make wood cutouts and many people use the Winfield collection. Those things are approved. Christmas inflatables, things you might see in some of the big box stores. Almost all of that is approved as long as it's not a specific Rankin Bass character or Grinch or so forth. Elf on the Shelf. My door decor decoration. So if you have garage door covers like we did, they're allowed, they're approved. Department 56. All these things can be shown in your display. Now let's talk about what cannot absolutely be in display, at least at the filming of this video. And it's some of the things that are going to probably disappoint you, and many of them have it. So, things from the movie A Christmas Vacation can't be shown. A Christmas Story, you can't have your leg lamp. I'm sorry, you can't do it. The Grinch. Elf the movie, Buddy the Elf, who's so friendly and happy and loves Christmas, can't be in your display. Any other Dr. Seuss characters, Hello Kitty, Where's Waldo, DC comic characters, the Transformers, the Ninja Turtles, none of them can be in your display. The other big thing that people don't realize is you can't have pro sports teams or college team mascots or logos, so make sure you work with the team to have those cleared out. Shoot, I couldn't even have my Philly Fanatic, and everybody loves him. That's because copyright, it's a Grinch. Now, if you have an animated light show, whether it's an AC light show or a pixel light show, there's some additional copyright approvals that you should understand if you're going to do a light show or a projection mapping display. So, a few things to consider. First, you must have at least 2 songs approved. Now, here's the important things on the songs. On the day of your reveal with the judge, you want to make sure you have speakers that the songs can be heard loudly and clearly, and they match up with your lights. And those 2 songs could be any song you want and want to show to the judge. It could be TSO, it could be Mariah Carey, it could be Sia, any of those songs for your judging. However, if they're not cleared, what's going to happen when they edit your show and put it on air, they're going to dub over those and try to find generic music that is approved and matches up with the beats. So just understand that your Final Cut video will likely have dub overs. Just accept it and understand it. They'll do their best to make things match up. If you're worried about songs, consider public domain songs. The document that is sent out to the contenders has a list of generic songs and different versions that could be used and synced to music. If you're doing projection mapping or video matrices, you do have to make sure that your fonts are approved or the imagery is approved. Christmas-themed videos, YouTube videos, homemade movies of any forms of animation all have to be reviewed and approved, so make sure you do that. Disney cartoons and movies straight to video can be approved if they're released and not being pirated from the movie theater. You can include things from Frozen, things from Mickey's Christmas Carol, anything that would complement what you're trying to do in your display or in your projection map. Again, make sure you have an adequate sound system on the day that you film with your judge. Now, you're going to be doing a lot of self-filming and filling out a lot of documents and trading things back and forth to the Light Fight team. And how do you do that besides email or text or phone calls? Well, they're going to assign to you a box account. And what's a box account? Well, it's just like Dropbox, just a different provider. And the best thing, it's free. And Light Fight sets this up. So you'll create a folder structure. This is where you'll put your self-filming videos. This is where you'll put pictures. This is where you'll put documents. This is where you'll share different files, in addition to what you do on the DocuSign side for signing actual documents so that they become legally binding. Go to box.com once you're assigned it, learn how to use it. It's pretty much drag and drop. It's pretty easy to use, and it's a great way to change large files back and forth between each other. The contestant onboarding team will be very communicative with you. They'll send you lots of emails. They'll give you phone calls. and they'll keep you in the know. For example, this is an email from Bree that talked about our virtual scout, it talked about our filming dates, it talked about the welcome call. It gave us information we needed to be ready for the next steps in the process. All right, you've made it through the contestant onboarding and the big day is coming up. And you're gonna have a big crew to help you with the actual filming process for your segment. So let's talk about that in this step of the Great Christmas Light Fight process. It takes a village to record a segment of the Great Christmas Light Fight, specifically your segment. Here's an example of our crew, everything from in-house executive production staff down to the judge and everything in between. Sound people, camera people, production assistants, people who go get food, editors, everything that goes into the crew needed to make your segment look good, just like your light display does. Now, not only are you going to get a high quality, professional filming done by the Light Fight production team, you're going to have to do some filming yourself. So, how do you do that? Well, the Light Fight team's going to help you. They're going to give you a document that talks about the self-filming process and things they want to see you film. In many cases, they're also going to send you a nice tripod and a little device to hook to your phone so that you can be remote and activate it so you can film. Now, if you're not a selfie king like me, you might want to learn how to be one. Let me give you some advice on that. So, you can self-film with your cell phone. The document they provide you tells you the settings so that they can get good, high-quality 4K footage with a nice frame rate. It's easy. It works. Just make sure you have a lot of space on your phone or a place to offload it, like your box account. You can use a dedicated video camera. Does anybody still have one of those? You can use them as long as it's the right quality. Or you can even do your own drone footage. The one tip I will say, it depends on what you're filming and how they're positioning you. You might film a lot of footage and they might show very little. For example, for all the things I filmed in our episode, the one thing I know they definitely used is my choir, my blow mold choir, where all the heads are missing. Because there was a famous scene in there where I showed Tanya, it's kind of creepy to take off those choir heads. Just understand, you might film a lot, they might use a lot of it, they might use none of it. What do you want to film? So there are a couple key things you want to film when you're self-filming so that it complements what the production team actually does. So, film your core team members. Film them setting up, film them fixing things, filming hanging bulbs, whatever you're doing. Just film everybody equally so you have some of your self footage from all your family team members. Remember, no mascots, no NFL teams, no college teams, no non-copyrighted stuff. My recommendation is if you're in a colder climate, just wear a plain jacket, maybe a red, green, whatever. Or if you're in a warmer climate, just a plain t-shirt. Again, avoid all white, all black, heavenly pattern stuff, even in your self footage. Most importantly, and we've talked about it many times, film horizontally. You have to film horizontally, just like this, never like this. Remember, your TV's like this. Again, drop everything in that box account and it'll get to where it needs to go. The production team will review it. And if they want something else that they can't capture, they'll reach out to you and say, hey, can you film this? Also check the document they gave you, that 25-page document. It tells you everything they want you to film and how you can film it. Here are some examples of our self-filming that I took. I talked about the lights on device. I repurposed something. I took video of myself building it. You can see an example of me setting up. I'm dressed in a plain red shirt. I put a Santa hat on to make it fun. They didn't use it, by the way. Another cool video, you can do time-lapse. I showed them setting up my big Merry Christmas sign on my roof that was heavily featured in our segment. Film those types of devices, do it safely, find a good place to set it still, and make sure it stays steady. Use that tripod they gave you. Film other family members. Here's Kim giving me direction on where to hang things so it looks good because she has the taste, I'm the manpower. Another important part of your filming day and your filming process is the actual in-person scout. And this is where your segment producer and one or all their staff members comes out the day before the actual filming and reviews what we're getting into. They want to make sure everything works and you're ready to go. 2 to 6 hours is what you should plan for. They're going to do a walk around. You're going to bang on the lights. They're going to make sure things work. They're going to make sure nothing has to be moved around. They're going to look at logistics, like the jib, the big camera, and barricades, things of that nature. The most important thing they're going to do when they do this pre-walk around, if you haven't already thought about it, and if you're familiar with the show, have 4 or 5 things planned to be filmed. Do your 5 key elements. Always have something extra, and if you have something special for a second reveal, have that too. In our case, we did the blow mold choir. We talked about everything up on the roof. We did the animatronic Mickey Mouse that got activated. We did the push button, talk to Santa scene. And then finally, we had the fireplace with Santa stuck in it for our family gathered, and we talked about that. So if you have DIY elements, I recommend those to be the most important because they're usually the most unique and pertain only to your display. So something that the judge will remember. You're going to talk about the reveal, how it works, make sure your lights on device, how they're going to operate it, who's going to do what, make sure that it has that TV magic for the lights on moment. And then they're going to go over the whole schedule for the next 2 days, make you feel comfortable about how the process is going to work with actual filming. And when it comes to the filming, I'm going to tell you, they make it easy. They make you feel like movie stars. They don't do your makeup or anything. That's on your own. What happens on the actual reveal day? Well, in our case, the crew arrived around 2 p.m. because they want to get everything set up and ready to do lights on right around that dusk time frame. So between 5 and 7, depending on your area of the country. Full staff is on site. They've already worked with your township with all the permits, and they've gotten everything barricaded off. The porta potties have arrived. Yes, yes, elves poop too. So you will have porta potties on your property. Our neighbors even decorated ours. Equipment setup is going to take a while. There is a lot of gear. Not only does it take a village, it takes a lot of equipment for your big filming day. So they're going to find an area of your property or your home. They used our garage where they're going to set up power. They're going to set up all the charging stations. They're going to get all the cameras ready. They're going to go set the jib up. They used our neighbor's driveway to set the jib up. The jib is the big giant magic camera, the robot camera, if you will, that gets all the great overhead shots. They're going to work with you for any last minute preparations that might have been missed in the pre-walkthrough the day before. On the big reveal day, it's when you finally meet the judge. They know anything about you up until that moment. 2 minutes before you're about to turn on your lights. You're going to have your nice reveal outfits on. You're going to introduce your family members. You're going to talk about the display a little bit and your lights on device. And then finally, you're going to pull that lever, press your start button, light the lights, and you're going to do the tour and show the judge your 4 or 5 key elements and spend about 6 hours with them. So the nice thing about Light Fight is that you don't see in 9 to 12 minutes on a TV segment is the time they spent with you. And that time's important. Be yourself, have fun, because that's what helps the judge determine who the winner of Light Fight should be. It's not just all lights, it's what the experience is at the filming of your episode. They're going to film B-roll, so they'll film display elements. They might ask you to do some things in your display. They might have you turn lights off and on. You're going to film a lot of B-roll. So if any of you have seen my Librarian YouTube channel, I film a lot of B-roll to make the videos I make. So that's the things they're doing. They'll film hours and hours of footage for that few minutes that is on TV. In addition, they're filming the judge privately. So the judge will get pulled aside and you can't be around when they're talking about your display or even other displays that they've already visited. All of that is kept confidential and you don't know until you air. Another tip here, and many people don't know this. If they're not filming you and there's nothing secret being filmed, have your camera ready. You could take pictures of the whole process, of yourself, of the display, of the judge, selfies with the judge, selfies with the crew, selfies of selfies. You can do all that. So don't forget to document your memories so that you have them for your library. Now, depending on where your display is located, they're going to work with the township or your municipality to set the stage. You also have to lay out where they're going to put the porta potties, where they're going to put their trailers for all their other equipment, where they're going to park their cars. Many of them arrive in their own cars. And there were a lot of cars on our street that night, even though we were a closed set. Light Fight's filming no matter the weather, rain or shine, unless there's a dire emergency, they're filming. In our case, there were remnants of a hurricane, and we still filmed, and it turned out great. Besides weather, things will go wrong, but don't sweat it. The Light Fight team will work around it. There's been people whose displays didn't turn on, and they had to work to get them to turn on. There's been parts of displays that turn on. There's actually been a fire in the early seasons of Light Fight that happened in the middle of the reveal with the judge. Things will go crazy. If you have a pixel display, it's very likely you'll have burnout pixels or unlit pixels or pixels that aren't the right color tone. That kind of stuff happens. You'll have blow molds that aren't lit. You'll have wireframes that are burnt out. You might have something tipped over. Heck, the judge might even knock something over. So things will go wrong. Don't sweat it. Just have a good time and recognize that they film so much stuff in the couple days that you're at your display that they have backup scenes or elements, or they just won't use it at all. They'll edit it. They'll make it look great. So understand that there's things like this that will happen, but the Light Fight production team who is on site is going to make it easy, and it's all going to be pre-planned. There's nothing you got to do except show up in your outfit, look good, and make sure your lights turn on. There is a third day, that's your miscellaneous filming day, and this is when they get a lot of the daytime B-roll. This is when they film you and your family, reverse engineering your display so it looks like you're setting it up if you didn't get a lot of self-filming that was usable. They'll do some interviews, they'll pretend you're taking decorations out of storage, anything to make it look fun as they set up your home package and your actual episode. Do understand, you have to make yourself available for Light Fight, and they talk about this when they do the onboarding process for a potential pickup filming day. And what is that day for? Well, it may or may not happen, and it's for a lot of different things. So many people think it's because you won, and it could be, but the reality is, especially when they film in all kinds of weather, they might be coming back. They need additional footage, or things didn't turn out well. In the case of ours, when it rained, I thought they were coming back to film things because the lenses were wet or the wind blew something over. So it could be weather related, it could be missed shots, it could be additional angles they want to take of your display that they didn't capture before. It's because they have bad footage and need cleaner footage, or maybe you won. Usually they give everybody 2 potential filming pickup dates. And when they used to film back in November, December, those were usually in the December timeframe. That way they filmed everybody, they could determine who they needed to go back to, whether they won or because they needed additional footage. I would suspect that with the changes to a September, October filming, that those dates will probably be sometime in October. The good thing about the new process is you're not going to have to wait a whole year. You don't have to wait a month or 2, and they might have time in November to even come back and do potential pickup dates. The crew will arrive around the same time they did with your normal filming to get things set up and be prepared for when the sun goes down and the lights can come on. It might be your camera team only. It might be a jib. There might not be a jib. There might be a sound person. There might not be a sound person. You might have a director. You might have just somebody local come out with a drone. I've heard all kinds of stories from past Light Fight contenders about what happened on their potential filming pickup dates if they did happen. And it varied from winning to, hey, a guy just needed to get a shot of our roof. So don't get your hopes up. When it comes to crowning the Light Fight champion, from personal experience, I can tell you it truly, truly is a surprise. It's not why we did the show. Although we wanted to win, we really just wanted to have great footage and be on a show that we've watched since 2013 and be a part of it. And I enjoy being a part of it today through my librarian channel, and I hope you enjoy too. Please like, subscribe, and follow if you're not already doing that. Some things you might not know, and so that they can keep it a surprise, it's actually filmed a little bit differently. And I'm not sharing any secrets here, but they actually film the family winning the trophy and the actual segment first. So when you see the car delivering the trophy on TV and all, that happens afterwards. You actually get to watch that, and you actually get to take pictures and film and stand and watch and see how it's done. They take a lot of pride and time in filming this, and they do it in front of your display, so it looks really, really great. Now, I talked about this extensively on my red car episode. Please go find that and watch it on the Librarian YouTube channel. It's very informative. But just understand, a cool red car, there isn't just one. So all the way back to the beginning, once they determine which families are in each city, they reach out to local car clubs, find red old cars, usually old muscle cars from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and they pick a different type of car for each area depending on what's available. And it's really fun to kind of see Santa Claus with his fancy red car and to talk to him and tell him what you want for Christmas next year, and to thank him for bringing the judge and the Light Fight trophy to your display. How cool is that? It's as cool as the red car. You're going to get your trophy, you're going to get to keep it, but you can't tell anybody you have it until your segment airs. And again, once season 14 is filmed and airs, you won't have to wait that whole year. It'll only be a month or 2. But the trophy part, it's done first because, let's face it, if they did all the car stuff first, you could be looking out your window or walk out and see the judge there and ruin the surprise. Remember, whether you win or do not win your segment, you got great video And just understand, it's not what you see on TV for 9 to 12, or the case of season 13 and 14, 15 to 18 minutes. It's 6 hours spent with the judge, going through your display, sharing memories, sharing stories, sharing your passion. And that also, in addition to your light display, is what helps them determine which family they think should win the Light Fight Trophy. Another fun fact, you don't get your $50,000 at night, you get it paid later after your segment airs. It's not taxed, so be responsible. Consult your tax attorney, or if you use TurboTax, understand what winning a game show entails, and that you're going to have to give money back to the government. In most cases, it's about 30%, so you don't really win $50,000. You got to give Uncle Sam their cut. Well, that's a wrap. You've made it to the end. The team is leaving. They've packed up all their gear, and they're heading off to the next shoot. The good news is they've come in and said goodbye. They've become a part of your family. And if you were the lucky one to win the Light Fight Trophy, your producer delivered it to you so that you can have it and enjoy it for the night. Even though you can't share the knowledge that you've won or maybe did not win the Light Fight Trophy, once production wraps, you can announce the news that you will be on the show. And what will happen is the Light Fight production team will send you a nice little icon, a badge, that you can post on all your social media outlets if you want to, announcing that you will be a contender on the upcoming season of the Great Christmas Light Fight. I highly recommend you do it. You've worked so hard to get there. Why not let people know in advance that, hey, pay attention. I'm going to be on national TV. I'm going to be on ABC. I'm going to be on the Great Christmas Light Fight. Post it on your Instagram page. Post it on your Facebook page. Post it on your X page. Post it on your display's homepage. Be proud of what you've accomplished and display that Contender logo. All right, you've waited. The time has come. It is the year where your episode's going to air, where the Great Christmas Light Fight comes back to national TV. And you're going to learn about it a little bit early. You will get an announcement about the first week in November from ABC showing when the Great Christmas Light Fight will air, as well as all the other holiday shows that'll be on during the holiday season. The contestant onboarding team will send you a copy. Watch for that document, and that's when you start to get really, really excited, because it's close. You're going to finally be seeing the footage that you've been waiting on for such a long time. Once that press release is out announcing the holiday lineup and when the Great Christmas Light Fight will be on, you may start to get people reaching out to you from local news affiliates wanting to interview you about your experience and about your upcoming appearance on the Great Christmas Light Fight. And you can do that. And it may or may not happen. It just depends on your market and how much you pursue it, because you can actually reach out to local media outlets, especially ABC affiliates, to let them know you're on the show and that you want to talk about it. If that does happen and you do want to talk about it, the Light Fight team will send you publicity guidelines, a document that talks about the bullet points specific to the Christmas Light Fight, as well as anything going on specific to the overall environment during your year of airing. For example, we aired during COVID-19, and one of the bullet points they wanted us to talk about was why we did or did not have masks on. So we would talk about COVID testing and things like that. You may or may not have something like that in your publicity guideline. Make sure you pay attention to this document. It gives you some good talking points about the show and what you can and cannot say. And remember, you definitely can't announce the outcome. You have to wait till your episode airs. Another big part of the process isn't really related to Light Fight at all. It's related to you and sharing your experience and the results with your friends and families. And I recommend you have a watch party. We had about 60 people come to our home. We elected to do it at our house. Some people rent halls, some people rent movie theaters out. Some people sit and watch it by themselves. But there was no better way to share our experience, whether we won or lost, with our friends and family at our home. We shut down the display that night. We advertised to our community that the display was shut down. We directed the whole community to watch us that night on national television, on ABC, on the Great Christmas Light Fight. And the really cool part is we had ugly sweater contests, we had raffles, we had all kinds of food and desserts, we had stories, we had friendship, had some adult beverages. And then finally, when the trophy was able to be aired, we pulled the trophy out and let everybody hold it and took group pictures inside and outside of the display. So don't forget to have a watch party. It's a great experience, and just really is the cherry on top of the whole process. So have one, enjoy it, make it fun. And really the last part of the process is seeing how it all comes together, how your footage turned out, what the result was. And in our case, it all ended with this. Hi, Tanya.
Hi. Oh my gosh. So happy to see you. I'm so happy to see you. Last time I was here, you told me that you were a preserver of lights and Christmas past. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And you know something? You yourselves are making history tonight because you are the champions of the Great Christmas Light Fight. $50,000 is yours.
Oh, yeah, great job. I would never have expected this. We just do it for making people happy and never thought it would lead to something like this.
I'm really proud for my dad. I know he's so excited right now.
Oh my goodness, I think we're forgetting something.
And I think I know what it is.
You know what it is? Why don't you wait right there? I'll be right back.
It's exciting, guys.
What?
Oh.
Woo!
Oh.
What is that? What is this girl on here? Yeah! Light it up. Here you go. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tanya.
Awesome.
Michael family, we're the champions of the Great Christmas Light Fight.
Yes. You're kidding. Where are you going to put it?
I've got the perfect place to put this. Family, follow me.
Let's go. Yes.
How's it look?
That is the right spot for that.
We did it! We won the Great Christmas Light Fight!
We did it!
Thank you, Tanya! Congratulations, it's all over. You've aired. You're now a part of the Light Fight family forever. I hope you share that fun, that knowledge, that experience. I hope you come out to Christmas conferences and events and local minis in your area, talk about it. And if you won the trophy, bring it, show it, share it. Have a good time. It's been very enjoyable for me, the librarian, and I hope it's enjoyable for you. Good luck in the process. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. Follow me on Facebook. Follow the librarian on our YouTube channel. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Recommend it to your friends. Watch past videos. And I look forward to seeing you either on my show as a past contender of the Great Christmas Light Fight or on TV next year on ABC. Thank you for watching The Librarian. See you next time on a future episode.